What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bonfire Talks with me, Mark Wahlberg. The bonfire is lit once again for some discussion. Hi, Kaylin.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
I am well, buddy. It's you and me today and you guys at home. We're going to have, I'm going to kind of fold in everything going on today. We're just going to jump to a few things that are on my mind and that I want to talk about today. You with me?
Me? Oh, yeah. Sorry, my timer just died. So
your answer is exactly tells me the opposite of what you said.
And why isn't my timer working? It's out of battery, so we're going to be flying blind today.
Oh, my God. That was so good. You with me? Yeah. I'm with you. I just got to wake back up. So a couple things I want to do. I want to talk about what I'm watching on TV because I love TV, and it brought up some interesting things in my relationship. We're going to do somebody hit me up with I need a bonfire.
Yeah, we got someone sent in some audio for us.
Yeah,
so we can play that, and we can give some advice, or you can. No one wants my advice.
Well, I do. You have given me great advice. So we'll tag team that a little bit. By the way, Nora, thank you for sending it to me. And if you're listening, I was going to say if you're listening, listen. But you're
all right.
Yeah, I should probably write her back and tell her. So I'll email her back. And then I'm going to close it off today with a segment I'm going to be doing pretty regularly that I like to call Shit My Wife Made Me Read. One of the things about this Temptation Island phenomenon and my role on it and the love I get from everybody is this, what training have you had? Where does your advice come from? Is it off the dome and stuff like that? And I've been pretty candid about it many times in many interviews that Robbie is constantly in the conversation about self-help and growth and well-being and emotional intelligence. And I always joke that on TV, I say things that are, people go, oh my God, that was so great. And I act like I was the one who discovered it, when in fact it was something Robbie said to me, and I probably scoffed at her about it in the kitchen. It was like, why the fuck are you making me listen to all this drivel? And then I'll say it on TV, and it's great. So I decided I would kind of share with you some of the stuff she's making me read, and it's out of love. It's like I'll display some terrible behavior or like be in a funk, and she says, you need to read this, and I go, I don't want to, and then she makes me, and then I end up saying it on TV. So I'm gonna try to share some of that with you today. But I also have a kind of a fun announcement, Kaylin.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's June now.
Yeah.
That's not the announcement. That's something you would know. But next month, I'm going to be doing 2 weekends in Vegas.
Okay.
I should probably be more specific.
Stand up?
Not stand up. I won't be stripping. It's not. I'm not going to the World Series of Poker, although I really would like to. It's been a big week for me in poker. But I'm going to be hosting Wheel of Fortune Live again.
Nice.
So it's a stage version of Wheel of Fortune where people buy a ticket and they come into the theater. It's at Paris Hotel in Vegas. And, you can get plucked right out of the audience to end up being on the show. And the show is not televised. We're just doing a live version of Wheel of Fortune, and whoever gets to play can win prizes. And even if you don't get on stage to play, we're doing a lot of games in the audience. So I'm working with a guy named Cody Dove, who is terrific. He's a former Second City improv guy, and I can't tell you how much I love him. He's so funny. But basically, people come in, and we watch some clips, and we play some Wheel of Fortune games. I'm not out yet. And then we have auditions 5 at a time to come up to fill 3 spots on the show. And so 5 people come up on stage and play some toss-up puzzles, and somebody wins. And then we do that 3 times to get 3 contestants. And then we do a full episode just like you'd see on TV. And the winner has a chance of up to $5,000, maybe $10,000, plus other prizes and stuff. So, and for me, it's a blast. I love game shows. Wheel of Fortune, is a classic.
Yeah.
But more importantly, is the live audience aspect of it. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I cut my teeth doing that. That was my whole career before I got on TV. And so it's really fun to do. And then I guess they're going to do some VIP meet and greets. If you come and you want to say hello, there's a way to do that as well. But I'm going to let you know a secret that you have to pay to do that. And if you just wait a little while in the lobby, I'm going to come out. And I'm desperate and needy of attention, so I'll just come and hang out with you. As a matter of fact, if you hit me up, I'll probably meet you at some other bar just to hang out. But I'm kind of excited about that. So it's July 10th and 11th, I believe, that weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday.
Nice.
And then the 18th and 19th. So we're going to do it those 2 weekends. And then I'll talk about this more as we get into it. But in October, I'm going to go on the road doing that bus and truck tour of Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to be going to towns all over the United States. That'll be after I'm in Hawaii for not vacation. So it's going to be an interesting summer and fall. I'm excited about that. And doing Wheel of Fortune is a blast. I'm glad to be doing it. I did it for a while, and then I didn't do it last year, and I'm doing it again. And it's just, you never know what's going to happen. Playing games are fun. Seeing people win stuff is fun. Meeting fans is fun. So I'm pretty psyched about it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And it's in Vegas, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it works great for me because the shows are like in the evening, and I'll go and I'll play like a poker tournament in the morning, and then it'll work out perfectly. I don't play as much poker as I used to. Do you play poker?
I don't play poker, but my 2 older brothers who are twins paid their college tuition playing online poker.
Online when that was a thing.
Yeah.
Now it's shut down in California. But, I remember meeting poker bros who were young, like college age, and they would have 10 screens going at once, playing 10 different poker games at once,
Yeah.
which I can't do. But I have a buddy, and we had him on the show, Eric,
Yeah.
who I know through poker, and there's an online poker tournament that he hosts like every night, and it's low stakes, $20 buy-in and stuff like that. But I go through periods of time where sitting while I'm watching TV, I'll play, and then I'll go months without playing. But took third place, and I won it the next night, so kind of a big deal. And then I went to play poker with Smitty and the Camping Boys.
Right.
And I love playing poker with them. First of all, because all of you who have like a friend group that you've known for your whole life, you understand what it's like to check in with them. You may grow, you may change or whatever, but when you check back in with that friend group, it's just like coming home. And so that alone is why I go and play poker with them. But it's also a blast because we have laughs and we're having a great time. But they also Todd's got to travel down to his brother's house to do it, so he's not going back home. So nobody's driving. And about an hour and a half in, Greg and Todd and whatever are pretty toasted.
Yeah.
And then I just take all of the money. I took everyone's money and felt bad about it, but I took it. And I told them at the start of the game that I was going to do that, so I don't feel so bad about it. But I know that Todd listens to this, so I mean, you played great, buddy. He won. He won $40, and then and he'll stretch that out for a month because he's great at money. I've already spent what I've won. So anyway, that was fun. We covered Vegas. That's cool. I didn't tell you this, Caitlin, but you may notice it just by seeing me because it's an aura.
Uh-huh.
But I'm so much more famous now than I was last time I saw you.
Oh, yeah. I thought I
Could
caught
you
a
see
little
it?
bit of I felt it when you walked in.
Right. It kind of comes in the room before I do.
Right.
It's a big thing. I mean, we'll still have the same relationship we have, but I prefer you don't look me directly in the eye because I'm pretty famous right now. Goldie, my adorable daughter, who is a social media manager for her dance studio where she teaches. So she's very good at this stuff. She put out a TikTok without my authorization, didn't tell me. And my daughter was a former professional ballet dancer. Mm-hmm. My wife is a professional dancer. Mm-hmm. And I came out of musical theater. So the joke is I'm always doing the ballet like I'm pretending to be her. So when I would go to Kansas City to visit her or wherever she's dancing and we're in the grocery store, I'd be doing ballet or whatever and just goofing around to make her laugh. And she cut together like a montage of me doing these dances and basically put out a TikTok saying, petition for my dad to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Hey, not a bad idea.
She didn't mention it to me. 3.1 million views. It's gone nuts.
Wow.
To the point where several of the pros, including Derek Huff, who is a king, have commented, I'll make some calls. Meanwhile, I'm going to be in Hawaii. I can't be on it anyway, which I'm relieved because I would suck so bad on Dancing with the Stars. But I would give it. I would be that token dude that can't dance, but oh, bless his heart. I think that's the role I would fill because I think the show has changed so much. Dancing with the Stars. It used to be like, people who couldn't particularly dance would go and give it their best effort, and they were really famous and whatever. And now it's people that I'm not sure are famous. Some of them are, and I'm sure that they are famous. It's just me being out of touch. But they can all kind of fucking dance, and I'm not that dude. So, but yeah, 3.1 million views, and then she put out another one, which is I'm lifting her in a ballet move, which is actually pretty sick. I kind of crushed it. And that's got almost 2 million views. So I just want to let you guys know it's the same Mark you knew from last episode, but kind of a big deal now. And so in addition to offering advice, I will be offering dance steps, dance tutorials if you'd like.
I could use some of those.
Yeah, I for your...
Just for me, I don't know how to dance.
Yeah, I'm not great. I have like my moves. We all have the moves we do on our dance on the dance floor. I do the back and forth step and occasionally a turn, and then everyone makes fun of me. Or Goldie makes fun of me. So anyway, that's happened. I'm now real famous, and then there was something else I want to tell you before we get into what I'm watching because TV has been amazing lately. And this is where you could give me some advice. Although I can kind of tell where you're going to go with this before I even ask. I'm having a neighbor dispute, and I'm stressed about it. So we have next door neighbors who I like. They're great people. They're really supportive. We have been next door to them for years, and they're great. And she has, out of her house, she's been doing an animal rescue service, a nonprofit animal rescue service, which I applaud. It's great. I now am wondering, there's no way she's listening. There's no way it's getting back to them because this may be the way to broach the subject as it just leaks out of this podcast. Yeah. But they're great people. I just want to preface this. Anything we've ever asked, they bent over backwards. And, if something goes on in the neighborhood that's scary, he's the first one to come over and see if Robbie's okay. So I just want to let you know they're good people. But they have this animal rescue going in their backyard. And as you know, I have 2 dogs. And their rescues start barking at like 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, which isn't terrible for Robbie and I because we're on a different side of the house. But when Morgan and his wife, Carissa, my lovely daughter-in-law, or if Goldie's in town with Tucker, and they stay in their bedrooms, that's right there. And so nobody can sleep. And then what happens is as soon as those dogs start barking, my dogs go crazy. And then we've had incidents where one of their dogs has gotten out, jumped over the fence into our yard, bitten my dog.
Oh, geez.
And took the dog to the emergency hospital. They paid for it. It wasn't, they were.
Okay, yeah.
Right? They tried to build a little bit of a fence to make it better, but they didn't really build one that you can't see through. So I built one on my side. I didn't ask, I'm like, we'll work it out. But it's now the point where it wakes us up every morning. And if we let our dogs out into our backyard, they're climbing the wall, barking at each other through the wall incessantly. And so Robbie's from New Jersey. And I said if we could do a reality show about Robbie, it would be called The Confronter. Because she doesn't have any problem confronting. She doesn't need a solution either, but she can confront. And I don't like any of that. So I'm just like going, like Robbie's stance is, that shit's probably illegal and it's got to go.
That's what I was thinking too. But
right.
It is an animal rescue, which is fantastic. So it's like, all right, we're going to let this one slide.
Mine's even more people-pleasing than that. My take on it is, I have the right to say, this is ruining our peace of mind in my house, and it's got to go. I have the right to say that.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to forget about the fact that this has become a passion for this woman, where her heart is in it. These dogs get dropped off at her house in the middle of the night that have been abused or been found wandering the streets. And so it's a real service that it's become what appears to be her whole life. She's out there spraying cages and stuff. Oh, she's working so hard. And I just would hate to take her life's purpose away from her so I can sleep till 8:30. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, but so I don't even know.
This one's tough.
This
one is tough. And like, again, it's dog rescue, it's animal rescue. And my answer to you, which you probably weren't going to like about having to get up at 6:30 in the morning, is, well, maybe you should just get up at 6:30 anyway. Get yourself up, get going. You don't need to sleep in. Sleeping in is, it's better for you to wake up early and get your day going.
Point taken. But what about all day when I'm letting my dogs out and they're immediately, like if those dogs start barking, my dogs run out the doggy door and it's on.
That's the one thing where once you mentioned the dogs and then them going crazy, I was like, okay, that's different. Yeah, but I get, but see, the other thing is like I can get up at 6:30 and on our side it's not that loud, but for my daughter or any if I have any house guests come and stay at the house, yeah,
they're
at least Morgan's used to getting up early. So
he used to be, but now
he's in the military, man. He understands.
Yeah, but you should see him right now. He's gone from Navy pilot, high and tight, military man, following all the things. Now he's bought a place at the beach in Oxnard. His beard is longer than yours. His hair is hippie length. And he's riding his motorcycle to dead shows. I mean, he's like in another, like he's gone the entire other way with his life to make up for all the times that he was like having to toe the line. So yeah, but he doesn't sleep in. He gets up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Most importantly, it's not about keeping the dogs happy. It's about keeping my wife happy. It's making her crazy, and she's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but. Yeah,
but
I don't
the
know
thing I keep going at is you're not wrong, and it needs to be addressed. But once it's addressed, we're still going to be living next door. And I don't want to have, and I know a lot of people that have this, and they don't have a problem with it. I don't want to be walking out of my driveway and not talk. So I see them and not talk to them because we've got a rub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I like having neighbors that I love, and they love me. And so we'll have to figure it out. If you guys listening, if you're still listening, have any advice for me, I'd be all ears. I don't know how to broach the subject. What I've done is I filled out a email inquiry to my city council's office. There's a mediation service because, and in their website, they say when neighbors have a disagreement, having a neutral third party be the person that you're talking through might be a healthier way to go about it.
Yeah, and if this is technically an illegal operation or not zoned or whatever, you don't want to be the one to drop the dime on, hey,
and
Temptation Island's Mark Wahlberg shuts down dog rescue
and the first
he
question,
wants to sleep in the morning.
Yeah. Wahlberg hates animals, loves sleep. Mark Wahlberg would rather see dogs euthanized than lose an hour's sleep. Yeah, that's going to play out.
That's
great.
going to be a tough look.
That's going to be great. And Robbie called the council person, and they immediately said, you can't make an anonymous request. It's all going to be measured. It dawns on me, this is so simple and adult to handle, and you're just not doing it. You got to go next door and say, guys, it's a problem. What can we all decide? How do we solve it? I don't want you to have to shut it down, and I don't want to have to deal with my dogs having to be locked in the house because they're going to go nuts. So maybe it's about moving your dog to the other side of the yard.
I was going to say, I was just thinking maybe you kind of, your neighbors build a sort of fence, like away from your fence. So
put them on the other wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they're being kept in there, but just keep a distance between their fence.
I think it's as simple as that. It could be as simple as that.
I think that's probably the
So glad we solved that.
Yeah, Mark needs a bonfire.
I really made it. I really made it a bigger deal than it is, and I've been losing sleep over it. Not morning
Apparently,
sleep.
your whole household has.
Yeah, but not at the expense of death to animals that don't deserve it. Let's see. So I wanted to talk about some shows that I've been watching that I've been kind of digging, and then I want to talk about the dynamic of Robbie and me with TV watching. Because we watch together. It's just kind of, we have dinner and it gets evening time and we're kind of winding down. What do you want to watch? I think a lot of you can relate to this. What do you want to watch? I don't know. What do you want to watch? I don't know. And then it's like check Netflix out and you check everything out and then we've already seen everything and put on a movie. We just don't know. But there have been a couple things. Like one of the things that Robbie and I have been really into over the years has been Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
You've never watched it?
I did. I watched the first, I think, 2 seasons of it. But to be perfectly honest with you, there's some, for whatever reason, I don't have a good reason for it, but there's actors and actresses that just bug me. They just bug me, and Elizabeth Moss is that actress.
She's a polarizing actress. She's very committed, and I love her. My wife literally wants to meet June Osborne, not Elizabeth Moss. June Osborne, the character from Handmaid's Tale, she holds in high esteem. But I get that. And
she was great in The Invisible Man. I like that movie a lot, and I was like, okay, she's great.
She's good in Mad Men, too.
Yeah, I watched part of that, but yeah, it's just, she bugs me, and yeah, I watched 2 seasons of it, but that was years ago. How many seasons of this?
So this is the 6th season, and just dropped was the series finale. Like the whole saga ended, and it was pretty dramatic, and we were into it. And now we're literally having withdrawals because that Monday night was like, it drops at 9:00 on Monday, and we're literally on the couch at 8:48 counting. We got 12 minutes, which is pretty sad that our life has come down to that.
I always like that with shows.
It's kind of cool when you're both into it, which brings me to the other point. And this is relationship stuff. So life is about give and take. So I've been watching a lot of NBA playoffs. I love it.
Of course.
I'm way into it. Robbie's not a fan. But I've made her watch because I don't have Morgan around. You need a beer buddy, you know, to watch. And so I've made her watch, and she's been really, really great about it. And when I tell her what's going on, she now knows the players, and she's down. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, the other night when I went to play poker, it was during the last Knicks-Indiana game. Mm-hmm. She texted me that she was watching the game, and it was a good one. So props to Robbie for stepping up in an area where she didn't really have interest, but out of love for me, she not only sat there and tolerated, but she actually embraced it. I have not been as gracious because what just returned on TV is this the title? And Just Like That?
Oh,
which is the Sex and the City thing?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm going to have to watch every episode of that because she watched the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, it's called And Just Like That. And for the record, I was a big Sex and the City fan. That was a great, great show. Me and my wife very excited.
Okay.
For And Just Like That comes back. And I think it wasn't good.
The first episode?
Yeah, well, there's kind of a big thing that happens, I think, in the first few episodes of the first season, which I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it. But just the season, it might have been the second season where we were watching. Like, well, this is ridiculous.
That's what we're on right now.
You're on?
Like it just dropped.
Well, the 3rd season.
Is this the 3rd season already?
Yeah.
I tolerated Sex and the City and liked a lot of it and not down for And Just Like That.
Right, yeah.
And this last episode where Aiden is trying to have phone sex with Carrie and you kind of listen to him go all the way to completion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not sexy to me. I was not really down for that episode. But out of deference to the woman I love and I'm committed to, I'm going to watch every episode. And I'm not going to just watch it because it's shitty to watch it and go, oh, this is shit. I mean, that just pours water on your wife's joy of watching it. So I'm going to not only watch it, but I'm going to find a way to really get invested and watch it with zeal and no judgment because she's done that for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way right now with my wife with The Valley.
The Valley?
Yeah, she's all about the reality. She's like, Below Deck, I can do Below Deck. Below Deck's great. I watch The Valley, and I'm like, I hate all of these people.
Yeah, I get it.
And but it does get to the point where
Below Deck it's a boat and there's things.
It's beautiful scenery.
Right.
It's everyone's hooking up with each other. It's great food. All the food is really good.
Yeah,
the guest rooms,
it's
it's got so many different elements to it that make it fun. But The Valley's just like, okay, I grew up there. I know exactly where they're going at all these places. And my wife's always like, where's that at? Where's that at? Where's that at? And,
is it our Valley?
Yeah, yeah, it's the San Fernando Valley, and like, so
man.
Jax will have like his bar that's down, and she's like, "Oh, you know where that is?" I'm like,
that's
"Yeah, I
like
used to cover."
Tahunga, right?
I used to cover shifts at the Coffee Bean across the street growing up.
Wait, Jax is that's like right in Studio City, right?
Yeah, it's right on Whitsett.
I didn't realize it was the same Jax. I'm so out of touch. This explains why Goldie's TikTok goes 3 million and mine has 4 people. Wheel of Fortune, trade-offs, and just like that. I think we covered all that. I want to do this now. I want to answer an email that I got. We've had several of you send us emails and reach out asking to have a little bonfire moment with Caitlin and me. I think it's mostly me, but with Caitlin as well. And this one kind of touched me. It's like a legit issue, and she sent a voice memo, and so it's kind of a long voice memo, but it's engaging to me. And let's see if we can't come up with something to send our friend Nora.
All right,
Let's take a listen.
Good morning, Mark. My name is Nora, and I'm in a bit of a conundrum that I was hoping to get some feedback on. Situation is kind of unique to a queer relationship, but I think some objective feedback could be helpful.
So, first of all, I'm sensitive to the fact that a queer relationship may have a different dynamic than the relationships I'm most comfortable. Not most comfortable with. Most
Experienced
relate with.
Yeah.
But I want to let you know, Nora, that I have so many gay couple friends, married couples that, I'm sensitive to the dynamic being different. But I will say before we go further that ultimately, under the heading of love is love, that two people in love having any kind of disconnect is not particularly a hetero or queer situation. So I feel like we can go here and go there safely. So let's hear what's going on with Nora.
So I've been in a relationship for almost a year and a half with a woman. It's my first queer relationship, and she is amazing. Prior to being with her, I dated men, unfortunately, most of my adult life. I'm 30 now, and just experienced a lot of trauma and emotional immaturity, and I think I always knew that I was attracted to women, but was sort of intimidated. So anyway, I met my partner and kind of immediately fell in love. And I think for all intents and purposes, we have a very healthy, loving relationship.
Well, first of all, that's great. One thing is the toxicity she talks about when she was in hetero relationships with men that wasn't working for her could easily be the men that she was connected with, or it could be that it was not the place for her. And I think the fact that she met her girlfriend and immediately fell in love lets me know that her soul aligned in a love relationship that suits what she's hoping for. So the good news is, it sounds like as we get into this with Nora that the relationship is healthy, that they love each other, but there are bigger issues.
Certainly one that I have never had before. The wrinkle is that she comes from a pretty conservative family. Her parents are not accepting of her sexuality, and when she came out to them, they responded very poorly. However, she still has a relationship with them, but it seems kind of conditional on her hiding a lot of who she is. And one of the ways she does that is she's not told her parents about me. I don't know the intricacies of her communications with them.
This is so relevant. I didn't even think about this. This was not the plan, but this being Pride Month and this being such a political divide, and so many, I see posts from far right conservative people saying, I don't mind if you're gay, just don't shove it down my throat. And this pride, why do I have to have pride? And then I see some posts from the gay community that are really it. It's not, and I don't even know what the phrase is, but pride is not about. Basically, it's not about you accept, making you gay. It's about letting that gay child not be killed. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it beautifully, but the point is the awareness that being gay in America traditionally was about surviving what her parents' standpoint is, that she has to hide who she is. She can't really talk to the people that she loves, and yet she's strong enough to keep a relationship. I'm talking about your girlfriend, Nora, that she's strong enough to keep a relationship with her parents and has to bear the burden of not being able to disclose her whole situation. She has to do it conditionally and in secret because of the resistance on her parents' side. And yet the love she has for her parents and the forgiveness she has dictates that she's still going to have a relationship with her parents, which is, it's a weight I can't imagine carrying, to be honest with you.
But my suspicion is that she omits details of her life to prevent them from knowing about me, or just kind of doesn't share very much. So we've had a lot of back and forth about it, and she just started going to therapy, and I met, her sister, and there are real signs of progress that I wasn't seeing for a while in the beginning of our relationship, and I have been very patient, and I want to continue to be patient, but it does feel like it's kind of this barrier for us to move forward with moving in together and having real conversations about, marriage and kids. And I don't need that right now, but it is something that I want, maybe within the next 3 years or so. So anyway, my question for you is sort of navigating this tricky terrain with someone who I know really loves me and wants to be with me, but is sort of struggling with this obstacle that I don't think I can do anything about, and if it's really worth fighting for without any sort of clear indication of when she will tell them and what will happen when she does. She makes me incredibly happy, and I don't see any of this as a waste of time, but it's also scary and frustrating to feel like this is something I have no control over. So just curious for your thoughts, and love you, and hopefully can get some feedback from you.
Love you too, Nora. And thanks for bringing it to me and articulating it so well. Didn't she really kind of make her point so clearly, Kayla?
Oh, yeah.
You're caught. It puts Nora in a situation of being caught between being a stand for her, what she deserves to have in a relationship, and when she talked about having to be patient and being supportive of the person that she loves as they deal with something on their own timeline. And so let's talk about the good news first. The good news is it seems like you both love each other, that this is a relationship that's filling you up. It's healthy. It's not a toxic situation. It's new for you, but is feeling comfortable and something that you're even alluding to, kids, house, and family, and that's the natural progression of a healthy relationship. So congratulations on finding someone that you love and that loves you. That's the hard part. So the selfless part of this is being patient and supporting your girlfriend as she grapples with the timing of what eventually is going to happen, which is her having, if you stay together, that she's going to have to say to her parents, I'm in a relationship. This is a thing. And with hopes that it's Thanksgiving dinners and everybody kind of gets over it. I like to believe that the thing you fear in revealing a secret often turns out to be bigger in your head than it is when it's spoken. But when it comes to the gay community, sadly, often that's met when you come out to your parents with you could be disowned, like terrible, terrible, outcome. So we can't predict that because I can't talk to your girlfriend, and I don't know how bad the fracture is between her and her parents. But I also want to acknowledge, Nora, what it must feel like to be the secret. That you're in a relationship with your girlfriend, she loves you, you love her, but you know that you can't be around when her parents are around. You've got to play this game of secrecy, and being the secret or having any secrecy in your relationship can't feel good to you. It feels we all want our significant other to be proud of who we are and to be celebrating us with the people that they love as well, not having two different lives. So I want to acknowledge, Nora, that this is a crossroads, this is difficult, and this is tough on you. And then what also will be tough or can be tough or might not be, but will be a role for you, is that if and when your girlfriend tells her parents that you're in the picture, their reaction to that is going to have an effect on your girlfriend, and this is an opportunity for you to be that supportive partner, which is why we're in partnership. So this is the time where she can sit on your shoulders in a hard time, right? And then, Kaylin, I'm going to ask you to jump in here. I don't think it's unreasonable for you to make a request of your girlfriend to say, what are you thinking time-wise? Do you have an intention of letting them know about me? And to also express lovingly that it hurts to be the secret, that I want to be part of your life, I want you to be part of my life, and everything that's important to you is important to me. So if your parents are important to you and I'm not connected to your parents, that leaves me out of that hurts our relationship. That makes our relationship less healthy and strong. So I think it's absolutely legitimate for you to make some requests of your girlfriend about timeline and what's her end game? Like, what's the plan? Kaylin, what do you think? What comes up for you?
I agree with everything that you said. And
that's why we work together.
And yeah, I'm not the person to be giving out this advice at all, but I would just say that to prepare for, eventually her girlfriend is going to have this conversation with her parents, and that they should prepare for all the outcomes. And I feel like this situation is one that happens for fairly frequently in the gay community too. So I imagine that there's some advice out there of people that have gone through this and it's went one way and it's went the other way.
Yes.
And you kind of research those different stories and prepare for any of the number of these outcomes.
100%. That I know from my own friends who are in married gay relationships, that there have been these struggles, especially since some of these relationships that I know started in the 80s and have gone through everything. So the resistance then was even more than it is now. But yeah, I think that's a good idea to reach out to people in your community that have experienced the same thing and reach out together. What might be a healthy way to do this is it's not her problem. It's our problem or our mountain to climb together, that you don't have to climb it alone and I don't have to harbor resentment. We can communicate and say, how are we going to skin this cat together? Because the bottom line that you've shared is we love each other. And that's really the hard part. That's the hard part that you've accomplished. So, the other question, it seems to me that the conversation is something like, Nora, to your girlfriend, look, I get it. I'm patient. You got to do you. I love you and I'm here. But I need to know what you're thinking and what role I can take in supporting you in, if you need me to sit next to you when you talk about it, I'm next to you. If you need me to let this happen and then show up after, how do you see me supporting you here? I'm all in for that. And because I think the thing when there's something that you feel you can't tell someone else and you're trying to keep it in a box, I think, as we've talked about on when we talked to Casey Campbell about anxiety and stuff, that we think it's only ours, and when we share it or we have somebody standing next to us, it becomes easier. So you get to be that for her, and maybe that makes it easier for her to do what you need, which is to just start living an honest life, a truthful to who you are life, and maybe even one that includes her parents as your in-laws, and everybody loves one another. So my heart goes out to you. This is difficult. It's difficult because you love your girlfriend and can see her struggling with this conundrum, as you said. But at the same time, let's not forget that this affects you in a negative way. This makes you feel like the secret. That doesn't feel like you're 100% in. And that makes you have to ask questions about the future of this relationship, because if it's not going to change, that's not going to work for you in the long run. Like, it can't be, I'm your girlfriend Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, I'm your roommate. That can't work for you. So I want to acknowledge that this is something to grapple with. But as with everything, if you guys talk it out and get a plan together, two of you are stronger than one. And I have a feeling that it's going to go better than you think, that it's going to work out pretty great. I hope. Anything you'd add to that, Kaylin?
No, I think that was right.
Thank you, Kaylin.
I agree with you.
Thank you, buddy. I don't know how much I trust that, but thank you. Hey, Nora, thanks. I hope that helped. And by the way, anybody who wants to kind of talk about stuff with me, I'm all ears. It's BonfireTalksPodcast@gmail.com. So send us a message and we'll get to it. And now I want to turn the page to a segment I'll be doing from time to time. And I do it with reticence. It's not like I'm excited about this, but with the same purpose that my wife has done for me, I'd like to do for you listeners. So she literally mandates me. She's got a library of books and stuff, all these great teachers. And I'm good about communicating what's going on with me, and I'll be having a feeling, and then she'll say, you need to read this. Or more importantly, she'll open it up and read it to me. And instead of reading just the paragraph, she'll read the chapter. And I get really upset, but the truth is it makes my life better. So this is the book she thrust in front of me, and I highly suggest. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It's not a new book. Anybody who's done any spiritual work, they know this book, Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I feel like Oprah right now. And so I've been grappling with some frustration, anger, and crabbiness. And that, Robbie has pointed out to me, is usually based in some form of fear. Impending doom, fear. And fear is usually the trigger for ego and behavior that makes you feel uncomfortable. Fear, and you don't even know what you're fearful of, but that something's going to change, something's been taken away from you, this, that, and the other. So she made me start reading this book, and this is the other thing, is that she wanted me to read her copy, and I refused to do it because I didn't want her to and I have my own copy, but I didn't want her to mandate how I processed it, because here's looking at just a random page of my wife's copy. See the underlining? Can you see all that stuff?
Yeah.
That's throughout the entire... Look, this one actually has another pamphlet about detachment inside the book. So I love that about Robbie, man. She is a warrior. So let me just read this passage and see if it helps you like it helped me. How did we come up with the notion that life is not okay just the way it is, or that it won't be okay the way it will be? I'm going to break it down. Who said that the way life naturally unfolds is not all right? And the answer is, you know who says that? Fear says so. So let's just go, and here's the difference between me and Robbie. That's enough for me. I can kind of go do an hour on that, but she'll go on and on and on, and Michael Singer does do a great job of explaining it beyond that. But it's an interesting thing that when we feel discomfort or fear, we can't sit with that. And what he's saying here is the natural way things are going, there is a possibility that we just accept them as they are and don't have that dictate a flight or fight response. The better way in the beginning of this book, what was really helpful for me right off the jump is fear and our behavior and our mood is often dictated by our thoughts, what we're thinking, that the never-ending conversation that's going on in our head that we're listening to, okay? And what Michael Singer talks about is either you listen to that as though it's the truth, like that voice inside of you is telling you the truth, or you become the observer of that voice. And you become, and this is a little heady, I had to read things a couple times on this, but the concept that you, the real you, is observing your monkey mind saying all the stuff, the subversive shit that makes you feel terrible, makes you feel angry or scared or all this stuff. When you can separate out that you're actually observing your thoughts as opposed to believing your thoughts, then you have the possibility of access to the concept he puts here, which is that, how do we come up with the notion that life is not okay the way it is, or that it won't be okay the way it will be? That our thoughts are dictating that if we can hold it still, we're going to be okay. And as it changes, we're not going to be okay. And as we can observe that our mind is doing this ego run, and we start to be the observer of that, then we have a possibility of developing the muscle of detaching from what our thoughts are, observing them as thanks for sharing, and realizing that the natural way the world is going, good or bad, you're going to be okay emotionally. So that's really all I'm going to share with you today. That's kind of what I'm grappling with understanding. The book is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and it's a classic. Like, anybody who's done any spiritual work, this is like one of the first ones you go to. I'm looking at you, Caitlin, like you're going to read it. But if there's something you want to read, it's not big. It's you can do it. This is a threadbare version, but I always like to flip through and see what she's flagged. Like, things are flagged. This is where we would read it like a novel for my wife. This is a textbook, and that's why she's, as learned as she is, and that's quite frankly why I have learned a lot of what I've learned. So hopefully that helps you guys. This has been a kind of rambly episode, but I'm really grateful you've been here for it. And Kaylin, thanks for your input, as always. Sure. You kind of cut straight to the just facts of the matter, like with the whole neighbor thing is like, just move the dog to the other side of the house. And get up at 6:30, and then you got no problem. So I just want to be clear that there's no part of me that wants to sleep later at the expense of rescue dogs. I want them to live a happy life and find a forever home. So, and anyway, that's it. Thanks for being here. More information about the rest of the summer and more information about the Vegas trip, if you want to come and be part of that, I can kind of tell you where the website is for that. I don't really know. WheelofFortuneLive.com, I think. WheelofFortuneLive.com should give you information with that. I'll also tell you where the fall tour will be and the cities I might be in. And anything else, Kaylin?
That's it.
That's it? All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Thanks, you guys.